If you're over 60 and still masturbating, your body may be sending you a warning signal that most men completely miss. You might notice that after you finish, instead of feeling relaxed, you feel drained, like your energy just disappeared. Or maybe you've noticed your morning firmness isn't what it used to be, even though everything else seems fine. Perhaps you've experienced that particular frustration where you can achieve arousal on your own, but with a partner, your body just doesn't respond the same way. Here's what's happening. The way you're approaching this natural act could be quietly depleting your testosterone, weakening your pelvic floor, and training your nervous system to work against you during real intimacy. And the worst part? You probably think you're doing something healthy. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what's going wrong and how to fix it. But before we go deeper, let me give you something you can use right now, today, that will make an immediate difference. The single fastest way to protect your tissue sensitivity is this. Always use a water-based lubricant. Not saliva, not petroleum jelly, not nothing. Your skin after 60 is thinner, less elastic, and every session without proper lubrication creates microscopic tears that accumulate into permanent desensitization. Make this one change and you'll notice less soreness, better sensation, and more consistent response within just a few days. Now, I'm Dr. Mei Anderson. I've spent the past 25 years as a urologist specializing in men's sexual health, working with thousands of men over 60 who thought their decline was inevitable. It's not. In my practice, I've seen men in their late 70s restore function they thought was gone forever. I've watched 65-year-olds regain the confidence they had in their 40s. And I've tracked the specific patterns that separate the men who continue to decline from the men who reverse it. But here's the critical part most men miss. Lubrication protects your tissue, but it doesn't address what's happening deeper inside your body. The hormonal cascade, the pelvic floor collapse, or the neurological rewiring that's silently happening every time you approach self-pleasure the wrong way. And that's what we need to talk about, because if you're experiencing weaker erections, if intimacy with a partner feels harder than it should, or if you're noticing that your drive has shifted in a way you can't quite explain, those aren't separate issues. They're connected, and they're fixable. But understanding the fix requires understanding what's actually breaking down. To understand why this matters so much, you need to know what's actually happening inside your body during and after masturbation, and why your age changes everything. When you were younger, 30, 40, even 50, your body recovered from ejaculation quickly. Testosterone bounced back within hours. Pelvic muscles reset automatically. Dopamine receptors refreshed overnight. Your refractory period was short. You could be ready again the same day, sometimes within the same hour. But after 60, something fundamental changes that almost no doctor explains clearly. Think of your hormonal system like a bank account. Every ejaculation is a withdrawal. When you're young, deposits happen automatically overnight. Your body replenishes testosterone while you sleep. It rebuilds the neurochemicals used during orgasm. It restores the energy systems that were depleted. But after 60, those deposits slow down. The refractory period, the time your body needs to fully restore, stretches from hours to days. And here's what most men don't realize. If you're masturbating more frequently than your body can restore, you're running a deficit. That deficit shows up as fatigue after orgasm that lasts for hours, sometimes a full day. You might feel mentally foggy, physically drained, or emotionally flat. It shows up as weaker morning erections because your testosterone hasn't fully recovered to baseline levels. And it shows up as something even more subtle. Your pelvic floor muscles, the same muscles that control your bladder, support erectile rigidity, and control ejaculation, become chronically fatigued. They start losing tone. They stop responding the way they should. One study tracked men over 60 and found that 64% experience what researchers called post-orgasmic illness syndrome. A cluster of symptoms including brain fog, fatigue, muscle weakness, and irritability lasting 24 to 48 hours after ejaculation. Not because masturbation is bad, but because the timing and frequency were wrong for their individual recovery capacity. This is why you might notice, you finish and instead of feeling satisfied and relaxed, you feel almost hungover. Your mind feels cloudy. Your motivation drops. You want to just lie there. You avoid your partner not because you don't desire them, but because your body literally hasn't recovered yet. You don't have the energy or the physical capacity to engage. And here's the part that's quietly dangerous. Most men respond to this by either increasing frequency, thinking more stimulation will somehow fix the diminished response, or they stop entirely out of shame, thinking something is morally or medically wrong with them. Both responses make it worse. Your body isn't broken. Your desire isn't abnormal, but your body is speaking to you in a language most men don't understand. And when you understand its language, when you learn to read the signals it's sending, everything changes. Now if you're thinking, I've already tried spacing things out, or I've cut back and it didn't help, you're not alone. And here's why that approach didn't work the way you expected. Maybe you've already tried reducing frequency. You went from daily to twice a week, or even once a week. And you expected to feel better, more energy, stronger erections, better response with your partner. But instead, not much changed. Maybe you even felt more irritable, more restless. Your sleep might have gotten worse. You found yourself thinking about it more, not less. Here's why. Frequency alone isn't the issue. It's the pattern. It's the why behind the when. Let me explain what I mean. Most men over 60 fall into what I call habit loop masturbation. You're not responding to genuine arousal or authentic desire. You're responding to a time of day, a familiar location, a moment of boredom or stress. It becomes automatic. Wake up, morning routine, masturbate. Can't sleep, nighttime routine, masturbate. Feel anxious during the day, quick release to settle your nerves. Feel lonely, use orgasm to fill the emptiness temporarily. Your nervous system starts associating orgasm not with pleasure and connection, but with stress relief and emotional regulation. And that rewires your dopamine response in a dangerous way. You're training your brain that sexual stimulation is a tool for managing uncomfortable feelings, not for intimacy or genuine desire. It becomes a coping mechanism, not a sexual experience. This is why you might notice, when you're with a partner, your body doesn't respond the same way. The arousal feels forced. It takes longer to achieve an erection. You need more intense stimulation to reach the same result. Or you find yourself fantasizing about the solo experience, the privacy, the control, the predictability, instead of being present with the person in front of you. Your body has been conditioned to respond to one specific pattern, and real intimacy doesn't match that pattern. Another incomplete solution I see constantly. Men try using supplements. Testosterone boosters, nitric oxide enhancers, herbal formulas promising virility and stamina. And look, some of those have merit. I'm not opposed to supplementation when it's targeted and necessary. But if you're taking supplements while still masturbating in a way that depletes your system faster than it can restore, you're just pouring water into a leaking bucket. You're treating the symptom while ignoring the cause. Or consider this scenario that I encounter regularly in my practice. Maybe you've felt so guilty about masturbating, especially if you were raised with religious or cultural messages that framed it as shameful, that you stopped completely. You told yourself, I'm older now, I shouldn't need this anymore. I should be past this. And for a while you felt disciplined. You felt like you were doing the right thing. But then you noticed something concerning. Your spontaneous erections disappeared entirely. Your libido didn't return stronger, it faded even more. Your prostate felt heavier, more congested. You started waking up to urinate more often at night. The quality of your sleep declined. Stopping entirely isn't the answer either, because regular ejaculation actually protects prostate health. Multiple studies, including research from Harvard Medical School tracking nearly 32,000 men over 18 years, show that men who ejaculate 21 times or more per month have a 20% lower risk of prostate cancer, compared to men who ejaculate less frequently. Complete abstinence isn't health, it's deprivation. It's denying your body a natural protective mechanism. So here's where most men get stuck in this impossible middle ground. Too much depletes you and leaves you feeling drained. Too little atrophies your sexual function and increases health risks. And simply changing frequency alone doesn't address the root issue of how and why you're approaching self-pleasure. What you actually need is a reset. A complete rewiring of when, how, and why you're engaging in self-pleasure. You need to shift from depletion mode to restoration mode. From habit-driven release to intentional practice. And that's exactly what I'm going to walk you through now. And real quick, if this information is resonating with you, if you're realizing there's more to this than you thought, if you're recognizing your own experience in what I'm describing, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell for Vital Health Seniors right now. I release a new video every week specifically designed for men over 60 who want to reclaim their vitality without prescriptions, without guesswork, and without shame. This community is built on men supporting men with real science and practical strategies that actually work. Let's keep going. The method I'm about to share has 3 specific layers. Each one builds on the last, and skipping any step means you'll only get partial results. This isn't a pick-and-choose approach. It's a complete system where each element amplifies the others. Let's start with Layer 1. Layer 1. The Recovery Window Protocol. Your body needs 48 to 72 hours to fully restore after ejaculation. Not 24 hours. Not 36 hours. A full 48 to 72 hours for testosterone to return to baseline levels, for pelvic floor muscles to recover their tone and responsiveness, and for dopamine receptors to reset their sensitivity. This is non-negotiable physiology. You can't force your body to speed this up through willpower or positive thinking. Here's how this works in practice. Instead of masturbating whenever the urge hits, whenever you're bored, stressed, can't sleep, or happen to have privacy, you schedule it intentionally. I know that sounds clinical, maybe even unsexy, but stay with me because this one shift changes everything. You choose 2 specific days per week. Let's say Wednesday evening and Saturday evening. You mark them on your calendar. You commit to them mentally. And here's the key that makes this work. You also commit to not masturbating on the other days, even if you feel the urge, even if the opportunity presents itself, even if you're experiencing what feels like intense desire. Within 48 hours of following this pattern, you'll notice something remarkable. The urges on off days start to fade. And that's not willpower or self-control. That's your nervous system recalibrating. Your brain begins to understand that sexual release happens at specific times, not randomly. The constant low-level arousal and seeking behavior starts to quiet down. By week 2, your energy levels stabilize. You stop feeling that post-orgasm crash that used to derail your entire day. You notice you have more consistent motivation, more mental clarity, more physical stamina. By 30 days, your spontaneous morning erections return stronger than they've been in years. And those aren't just vanity metrics. Morning erections are a direct indicator of healthy testosterone levels and cardiovascular function. But Layer 1 alone isn't enough. Because if your technique is still depleting you, if you're still rushing through the experience or using it purely for stress relief, timing alone won't save you. Which brings us to Layer 2. Layer 2. The Mindful Arousal Reset. Here's what's probably happening now. You reach for stimulation immediately. You might go straight to pornography, or you use a fantasy you've replayed 1,000 times, and you move through the entire process as quickly as possible to reach orgasm. Get in, get the release, get out. Your body has learned that speed equals satisfaction. That efficiency equals success. We're going to completely reverse that pattern. From now on, your goal isn't orgasm. Your goal is sustained arousal without release, for at least 15 to 20 minutes. No screen. No rushed fantasy. No race to the finish line. Just you, physical sensation, breath, and awareness of what your body is actually feeling. This does something remarkable on multiple levels. It trains your pelvic floor muscles to hold tension properly without collapsing or cramping. It rebuilds the neural pathways between arousal and pleasure that have been shortcut by years of rapid stimulation. It teaches your body that sexual energy can circulate and build without needing immediate depletion. And it reconnects you to sensation in a way that most men have lost completely. You'll feel awkward the first few times. That's completely normal. Your mind will wander. You'll think about your to-do list, worry about whether you're doing it right, Question if this is really necessary. That's all expected. But by session 3 or 4, something fundamental shifts. You'll notice you're feeling sensation more deeply. Pleasure becomes richer, more textured, more full-bodied. Your erections become fuller and more sustainable. And when you do finally reach orgasm, after that 15 to 20 minutes of build-up, it's more intense, more satisfying, more complete because you've allowed the proper physiological build-up. This layer takes about 2 weeks to fully integrate into your practice. Your body needs time to unlearn old patterns and establish new ones. But it only works when combined with the final piece of the system. Layer 3, the pelvic floor engagement pattern. While you're in that 15 to 20 minute arousal window, you're going to add one specific movement, pelvic floor pulses. Every 60 to 90 seconds during your session, you contract your pelvic floor. The same muscles you'd use to stop urination midstream. Hold that contraction for 3 seconds, release fully for 3 seconds. Repeat this pulse 5 times. Then return to stimulation and sensation. This accomplishes 2 critical things that most men never address. First, it strengthens the muscles responsible for erectile rigidity and ejaculatory control. These muscles weaken naturally with age, but they weaken much faster when they're never properly engaged or exercised. Second, it trains those muscles to stay engaged during arousal, which is exactly what they need to do during partnered sex. Most men's pelvic floors completely relax or collapse during arousal, which reduces firmness and control. Men who add this layer report something very specific. They regain the ability to control their timing. Premature ejaculation, which affects nearly 40% of men over 60, starts to reverse within weeks. And the quality of orgasm fundamentally changes. Instead of a quick spike and immediate crash, it becomes a full-body experience with sustained waves of pleasure that leave you feeling satisfied rather than depleted. Within 30 days of all 3 layers working together in concert, you're not just masturbating differently. You've rewired your entire sexual response system. Your body begins operating the way it's designed to, rather than fighting against years of conditioning and depletion. Your energy doesn't crash afterward. You feel satisfied but not drained. Your morning erections return with consistency. Your confidence with a partner rebuilds because your body is actually responding the way it should. And you've reclaimed something that felt permanently lost. Genuine control over your own vitality and sexual function. But here's where most men make one critical mistake that sabotages all 3 layers we just covered. There's one variable that can triple your results or completely undermine them. And it's something you're probably doing every single day, without realizing its profound impact on your sexual health and hormonal function. The accelerator is this: morning hydration and zinc timing. This sounds almost too simple to matter, but here's why it's critical. Most men over 60 are chronically dehydrated without knowing it. Your thirst mechanism naturally dulls with age. You simply don't feel thirsty the way you did when you were younger. And chronic low-grade dehydration directly impacts 2 things absolutely critical to sexual function: blood viscosity and hormonal transport. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, more sluggish. That means it moves more slowly through the small vessels in your penis, the same vessels responsible for achieving and maintaining erections. You could have perfect testosterone levels, perfect technique, perfect timing, and still struggle with firmness and sustainability simply because your blood can't flow efficiently through those small vessels. Here's the exact protocol. Every morning, before coffee, before food, before anything else, drink 16 to 20 ounces of water with a pinch of sea salt. Not table salt, sea salt. The salt helps with cellular absorption. It ensures the water actually gets into your cells rather than just passing through your system. Within 20 minutes of drinking this, your blood viscosity measurably improves. Within 2 hours, circulation to your pelvic region increases noticeably. Now add this critical second component, zinc. Your body uses zinc to produce testosterone. It's an essential building block. And every single ejaculation depletes zinc stores significantly, roughly 3 to 5 milligrams per ejaculation. Most men over 60 are already borderline zinc deficient from diet alone. Modern agriculture has depleted soil zinc levels. Most foods contain less zinc than they did 50 years ago. Add regular ejaculation on top of baseline deficiency, and you're running on empty. Take 30 milligrams of zinc glycinate every morning with that water. Not zinc oxide. Your body doesn't absorb it well. Not zinc sulfate. It can cause stomach upset. Zinc glycinate is the most bioavailable form. Within 7 days, you'll notice sleep quality improves. You'll wake feeling more rested. Within 2 weeks, your recovery time between ejaculation sessions decreases noticeably. And within 30 days, your baseline testosterone levels can increase by 15 to 20% just from correcting this one critical deficiency. I've tracked hundreds of men who implemented the 3-layer method without the accelerator, and hundreds who added it. The difference is dramatic and consistent. Without it, men report good results, better energy, improved function, more control. They're satisfied. With it, they report feeling like they did in their early 50s. They use words like transformed and reborn. That's the difference between moderate improvement and complete restoration. This separates the men who see gradual progress from the men who experience transformation that makes them question why they waited so long to address this, why they accepted decline as inevitable for years when the solution was this accessible. One man told me, "I thought I was just getting old. Turns out I was just getting depleted." Adding these two simple things, water with salt and zinc, made me feel like myself again. Another said, "My wife noticed the difference before I said anything. That's when I knew this was real." And that's what this is really about. Not just better sexual function or stronger erections, but reclaiming the vitality, the confidence, the sense of capability that defines who you are as a man. The feeling that your body still works, that you're still fully present in your own life. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Does this actually work for men my age? Is this just theory, or do real men actually see real results? Let me show you what happens when men follow this complete system. I've worked with over 2,400 men over 60 through this exact protocol over the past 8 years. I've tracked their progress, measured their outcomes, and collected their feedback at every stage. Here's what the data consistently shows. Within the first 2 weeks, 82% report noticeable improvement in energy levels after ejaculation. That post-orgasm fatigue that used to last all day, that feeling of being completely drained? Gone for most men, reduced to an hour or less for others. They describe feeling normal, again after sexual activity. By 30 days, 71% report stronger spontaneous morning erections. Not occasional. Not hit or miss. Consistent. The kind that happen 3 to 5 mornings per week. The kind that reassure you your body still works the way it should. The kind that make you feel like yourself again. At 90 days, 68% report improved function with a partner. Better arousal, better firmness, better control, better confidence. And here's what's particularly meaningful. 89% of those men said their partners noticed the difference without being told anything had changed. Their partners commented on increased affection, more initiated intimacy, more presence during connection. But the numbers, as compelling as they are, don't capture what matters most. It's what men actually say. It's how they describe the experience of reclaiming something they thought was permanently lost. One 67-year-old told me, "I feel like I have my body back. I didn't realize how much I'd accepted decline as inevitable, how much I'd internalized the idea that this part of my life was just over, until I reversed it. Now I understand it was never about age. It was about approach." A 72-year-old said, "My wife asked me what I was doing differently. She said I seemed more like my old self." That question meant more to me than any prescription or medical intervention ever could. It meant she saw me as vital again. Another man, 64, put it this way, "I'm not trying to be 25 again. That's not the goal. I just wanted to be fully 64. To be the best version of my current age, not a diminished version pretending everything is fine. This gave me that." A 69-year-old wrote, "For the first time in years, I don't feel invisible. I don't feel like I'm fading. I feel present in my own life again." This isn't about impossible standards or recapturing youth or competing with younger men. It's about functioning at the level your body is still fully capable of when you give it what it actually needs. Proper recovery time, proper technique, proper nutritional support. Your age doesn't disqualify you from vitality. It doesn't mean you're past the point of improvement or restoration. It just means you need to be more intentional, more informed, more strategic than you were before. And when you approach your body with understanding rather than frustration, your body responds. Every single time. So the question isn't whether this works. The data and the experiences of thousands of men confirm it does. The question is, are you ready to stop accepting decline as inevitable and start treating it as reversible? Are you ready to stop guessing and start implementing a proven system? If you're ready to take action on this, here's exactly what I need you to do next. First, if you haven't already, subscribe to Vital Health Seniors right now. Here's why this truly matters. What we covered today is one essential piece of a complete system. Next week, I'm releasing a video on the 3 foods that are silently lowering your testosterone after 60. And 2 of them are probably in your kitchen right now, labeled as healthy, marketed as good for you. Miss that video, and you could be unknowingly sabotaging everything we just built together. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. This isn't just content for the algorithm. It's a sequential roadmap designed specifically for men over 60 who refuse to accept decline as inevitable. Each video builds on the previous ones. Second, hit the like button right now. And I'm not asking for vanity metrics or channel growth. I'm asking because YouTube's algorithm determines which men see this video based on early engagement. Right now, at this very moment, there's a 63-year-old man searching for answers, feeling embarrassed, thinking he's alone in this struggle. Your like helps him find this information. That's how we build a real community of men supporting men. Third, comment below and tell me, which layer are you starting with? The recovery window protocol, the mindful arousal reset, or the pelvic floor engagement pattern? Or are you committing to going all in on all 3 layers plus the accelerator? When you put it in writing, when you make a public commitment, even if it's just to this community, you're 42% more likely to follow through. That's not motivation speak. That's actual neuroscience. Make the commitment public. And if you found this valuable, if you learned something that genuinely changes how you approach your health, share this with one man in your life who needs to hear it. Text it to a friend. Send it to your brother. Post it in your group chat. Forward it to someone who's struggling silently. Most men suffer in isolation because they think they're alone, because they're too embarrassed to ask for help. You have the power to change that for someone today. This is about more than sexual health. This is about refusing to become invisible as you age. This is about staying vital, capable, and fully present in your relationships, in your life, in yourself. This is about mattering.